Hour, Trading Hour, with your host, David White. Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648 or internationally at 727-873-7618. Now, David White.
And what do we have here today? Well, another day where we come together at the appointed time.
The following takes place between 2 p.m. and 3 p.m.
Every day that we trade, or most every day, unless I'm on vacation, or the market's closed, or maybe I'm just sick that day. You never know. But most days, almost all days, we come here at the appointed time. Okay, so got some bad news. I think a week or two ago, I started talking about what I thought was going to be the year of the red pill, not only in the economy, but just nationally in the zeitgeist. We were living in a dream world for a few years. The reality is going to be stark when it comes back, but at least what I suspect, and I've seen in past history in in markets that really like to sell off, if we're probably going to have something now the way it's set up, that is going to be after the first couple of days of March when it's going to get started. You get the storm clouds that start to come around. I know a lot of people are thinking it's a geopolitical event with a upgrade in the war in Ukraine and Russia. But my guess is that we're probably a couple of weeks early for that. Putin and his generals probably studied the German invasion of World War II and how everybody got stuck in the bog, and they're probably going to wait for things to dry up just a bit before they repeat that massive problem. So I suspect, we had the start of that about a year ago. But once you get farther down in the Ukraine, that's where the real problems for the Nazis really happen. So, like I said, I think we may start seeing a little bit, the big red pill. We got that. Anyway, as we talked, other than that, I saw some other stuff. We're going to get into earnings fairly early today. Let's see where we have that. Where is that at? There it is. So why don't we go ahead and go through those, and then we'll start looking to next week and see what's on the calendar for that. As I said, though, I think we've kind of made some kind of low for the next week. It could get very ugly after that, but I think they're going to try to, after they've now stomped the market down and thrown all the bad news on, we're probably going to have a little bit of time to think about maybe some better things going on. But certainly Autodesk is going to get the Price is Right loser horn for today with some heavy volume. As we were talking over last week, so many of these stocks look like they're coming back to the early first couple of days of the year, those January lows. And I think all of them are going to. It's just going to take a while for the whole market as a whole to top out. As I said, I think it's going to be maybe another week, maybe another 10 days or so before we see what I think is a big selling season, but we'll see what happens. Anyway, on Autodesk, you're down. You got big volume. 179.61 is the last major low out here from January 6th. I don't think else is going on. As we mentioned, Boeing got someone started picking at something. They told you if you pick at it, it'll never heal. Well, that's what's happening with the Boeing company. It really looked like this had been in distribution. We talked about some stocks that had been that way. But you see these long moves out here where everything just seems to go sideways and volume really doesn't pick up and you don't break out, but you break down. I think a lot of people were wishful thinking that this was going to be something that stuck for a while. Anyway, you gap down. You've got decent volume as at the end of the world now. First level of support comes in at about 190. So you got a little bit more. We'll see how well that holds, but it's going to be somewhere around 190, 185 where this is going to have probably fairly good support. Of course, it ran up back in that end of the December time frame with a lot of discussion about these big orders they got from India coming. Everybody knew about it. It ran up. And then, of course, a lot of distribution, and they moved back down. Although I don't think that in the end a great deal is going to change with these new lawsuits. Beyond taste, beyond eating, beyond meat, as I like to call it, Soylent Green. Oh, by the way, did you know that Soylent Green, the year it happened, was 2022? Well, in the book anyway. But I like the movie too, and the overacting. You just couldn't get any better overacting between Charlton Heston in Soylent Green Is People and Shakespearean acting of Captain Kirk in the original series. Who would watch anything else? You've got a great day out here. You got 2287. They ran all the shorts. You're coming back here. There's nothing changing in this. The mystery soy meat, whatever it is, toxic waste. I'm not a big fan of it, as you can tell. But yeah, I mean, they ran it up the flagpole. Everybody said it was the next big thing, and everybody knew what it tasted like. And that's all you need to know. It's no Canes. That's what I'm going to say. Movies, Soylent Green? Movies a little dated? Yeah, but what else can you say? Remember just all those Charlton Heston Into the World movies, Planet of the Apes. And then they had one that came right after that everybody's made 100 times in different ways. It was the Omega Man. Remember that? His blood was the only blood that could save everybody else, and he dies in almost a Christ-like figure, spread out in I think it was like not a pond, but like a fountain. I always thought it was hysterical. But I remember seeing that on the airbase. You could go to, on Saturdays, you could go for, I think, $0.25. And you'd see a lot of those movies, 3 months after they came out. But I remember seeing the Planet of the Apes, Omega Man, and Soylent Green at the Airbase Theater, which I always thought was interesting. Beyond Bankruptcy. Oh, I like that. We'll be back in a million.
Currencies, commodities, and bond markets are as important as ever right now with how they're driving the volatility in equity markets across the globe, which is why it's a great time to try out Teddy Kegstad's Tiger Forex Report. Teddy Kegstad breaks down the Forex markets every Monday using his 30-plus years of experience as a trading veteran of futures, Forex, stocks, and options. Teddy releases his weekly Tiger Forex Report every Monday morning with coverage of all the major currency pairs, including the dollar index, the euro dollar, pound dollar, dollar Swiss, dollar yen, as well as many more, and he also has weekly coverage of the crude oil market and the 30-year T-bonds, as they both influence Forex markets tremendously. When you sign up for the Tiger Forex Report, you also gain instant access to Teddy's 60-minute webinar archive he just hosted, Forex Strategies and Fundamentals, What is Behind the Tiger Forex Report. For all the details and to start your 30-day Tiger Forex Report subscription today, visit the front page of TFNN.com. TFNN, educating investors.
Are you grinding in the market, but seeing little to no return? Or are you a successful trader, simply looking to make your job a little easier? Learn to take the path of least resistance with David White's powerful trading newsletter. David White is an accomplished trader whose deep understanding of technology and the markets allows him to consistently find and share winning trades. Support and resistance define the ranges in which stocks trade. By understanding these trading ranges, David White is able to find the path of least resistance. David White's trading newsletter, The Path of Least Resistance, is delivered daily before the markets open to make every trading day an easy win. Visit TFNN.com today and subscribe to David White's Ultimate Trading Newsletter for $119 a month. And try all of our newsletters risk-free with our 30-day money-back guarantee. Take the path of least resistance at TFNN, educating investors. Are you looking for a way to consistently add winning trades to your portfolio? Tom O'Brien is here to help. Tom O'Brien has been successfully trading markets for over 30 years. A frequent contributor to TD Ameritrade Network and CNBC, Tom O'Brien founded TFNN over 20 years ago to help educate investors just like you. Tom's daily market newsletter, Market Insights, is published every morning when the markets open to give you the competitive informational edge you need to succeed. These newsletters are packed full of Tom's advanced technical analysis and are geared to deliver comprehensive strategies for a successful portfolio. Get Tom O'Brien's newsletter, Market Insights, today and try all of our products and newsletters 30 days risk-free with our money-back guarantee at TFNN.com. TFNN, educating investors.
Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-873-7618.
And let's do a little history, and then we'll get into the rest of the show.
Then it's all just a little bit of history repeating.
Seems like only 12 years ago, in 2011, the Space Shuttle Discovery launches on STS-133, its 39th and final mission, transporting several items to the International Space Station, including a humanoid robot called Robonaut 2, nickname R2, not D2. Discovery was the longest-serving orbiter, flying more missions than any other space shuttle. Of course, retired, as all of them are, because we found out it was 2 or 3 times more expensive than just using a regular rocket. But what the hey? Of course, now we're doing it at a tenth of the cost, using SpaceX and some of the other folks out there that have driven costs down with reuse and landing the boosters and trying to save literally as many pieces as you can, but making smaller and more rocket motors that can be used 10, 20 times. I think some of them have been up 10 times. I think they put kind of like one that, that's kind of older on each one and some new, and cycle them through. They'll figure out how long they can last, how many they can use. But we got that. Okay. So we've got that. Let's go on to some other stuff that people are talking about. Got some emails about Netflix. Of course, Netflix raising their prices or lowering their prices in some places around the world as cash is becoming tighter. That put together with that, with the market itself, you had a nice gap down. The only good thing is you don't have much volume. The last day at this price on the 19th of February had 17.7 million shares. You got about 4.5. I don't think there's a whole lot. And we talked about, for 6 months, the problem with literally too much content and most of it being crap. and a lot of people needing to get fired at Netflix and Disney, especially Disney. I'm going to charge Disney with war crimes for what they've done to the Star Wars franchise, much less anything else. And, of course, if it's any good, then they have to get in there and ruin it. Man, can you really say just how bad Boba Fett was? And even putting a couple of episodes in it from The Mandalorian didn't solve it. But you know what? Some discussion out there about Disney finally getting rid of some of the dead wood at that company. And more coming out about Susie Chapstick. What was his name? Chaffis? I always call him Susie Chapstick. I probably saw that ad just too many times back in the 70s. But certainly something that it's starting to come out what was going on inside. And the inmates were running the asylum, and they all went to management or to the board members and complained. Board members a little confused about what their job is. It's not to have as many happy and insane employees, but probably to make money for the shareholders. And I think they continue to forget that over time. But starting to get the feet held to the fire. Of course, Disney, we were looking for it to get at least to 100. There's a gap here at 98. What was that, 98, 97? So we've got just a little bit more to hit. But there's going to be a washout in these streaming services, and I think this is just the start of it. Netflix dropping its prices a little. There's just too much content. I think all through last summer there were more than 600 English language scripted shows, not just movies, but shows, ongoing series being produced. I don't know if you decided that it was your full-time job, 12 hours a day, to watch these things. I still don't think you could watch them all. But I've watched them, and man, they are the McDonald's of stuff. Generally, you want to watch something that isn't just average and mundane, but Disney's been able to, and Netflix to a little bit less. Paramount seems to have been doing the best of putting on stuff that people want to watch, like Yellowstone. What is it, 1926 or 1924? I haven't watched those. I just haven't had time, but I'll eventually watch them all. But that's it. I think you still have a good chance down here about that 97 level. 1923, thanks, is the best one. Okay. That's it. Okay, what else do we have out here? More questions about NVIDIA. I don't think we have that. Yeah. Let's see. What is that? 24, 22. I don't have yesterday in here. Let's do this. Let's do that. Okay. So you gapped higher yesterday. Yeah, I'm going to say 3-day rule on this one, just like everything else. But you had some nice volume, and you broke out above the big day of the 14th. But yeah, I think you got probably a week on a lot of these breakouts before we actually see a lot or any kind of significant pullback on them. Let's take a look at AMD to real quick. And yeah, this, as I said, a lot of these stocks have come back to support, like AMD. It bounced for one day. You're pulling back today, but you've got half the volume we had yesterday. So I think that we could have yet just a nice week next week before everything proverbially, I can't say it today. I apparently have had another stroke. Anyway, we've got about a week, I suspect, where we're going to probably come up, try to get up there, and everybody is probably going to see a pretty good idea that we've hit some kind of interim top. 877-927-6648. Okay, what else? The offer. That was great. If you love the offer, you'll probably love that the kid stays in the picture. I don't know if anybody's seen that, but it's a documentary about the head of the studio that made all those great movies. Bob, I don't think of his name. I'll think of it when we come back. We'll be back in a minute.
If you want to take advantage of this sector, now is the time to subscribe to my Gold Report. The Gold Report is a comprehensive look at the metals sector as well as the markets that move gold, which is the currency and bond markets. New subscribers get a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you have nothing to lose. Every Monday morning, I publish the Gold Report with coverage of gold, silver, bonds, the XAU, HUI, GDX, as well as more than 30 different mining equities. To see for yourself the types of profitable trades that are recommended within the Gold Report, sign up now by visiting TFNN.com. Don't miss out on the next great gold trade. Sign up today.
Sharpening your skills as an investor is like getting better at playing a musical instrument. You have to practice, sure, but you also need excellent instruction from experts. At TFNN, you'll get advice and guidance from the authority in technical market analysis. And it's not just dry, tedious text either. TFNN airs live financial content streamed live on TFNN.com and TFNN's YouTube channel with Tiger TV, live every market day from 8:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. Eastern, for free. Each host is an experienced trader and gives their take on the market while taking calls and questions live from around the world. From the moment the market opens until the closing bell sounds, Tiger TV has 8 different shows with expert hosts to help you make the right moves with your money. Watch online at TFNN.com or on TFNN's YouTube channel and become the investor you were born to be. TFNN, educating investors.
TFNN is excited about our new software charting program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts. In collaboration with Tom O'Brien and using his best-selling book, The Art of Timing the Trade, Your Ultimate Trading Mastery System, David White has programmed an outstanding piece of software that will complement any trader's methodology. Using this first-of-its-kind program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts allows you to scan thousands of stocks for Fibonacci formation setups, including Gartley's, ABC's, butterflies, and much more. The Art of Timing the Trade Charts is designed to help you when scouring the markets for stocks just beginning to form the trading patterns that many investors spend days, weeks, or even months searching to find. And right now, we're offering licenses available at only $79 a month. We are so confident that you're going to love this new charting software that will even give you a 30-day unconditional money-back guarantee. Don't miss out on this incredible new piece of software. Get your copy of The Art of Timing the Trade Charts today by visiting TFNN.com.
This segment is brought to you by Thinkorswim. For more information, just click the Thinkorswim banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
And as we come back, question about Adobe. Do we see anything else going on here? Well, support comes in at about 310. It'll be halfway in this gap higher that goes back to the 10th of November last year. You had about 5.5 million shares. You got about that right now as it comes back into that area. So at least you're not having more volume. Adobe, of course, make a lot of YouTube and other very narrow-focused web channels on a variety of things. They're basically catering to that particular market for creating animations, titling, editing, everything. And, now that everybody, including their dog, has a channel on YouTube, successful or not, it's kind of the de facto software. But I have a lot of people, when they were getting cash for sitting around at home, started a lot of this, and now we're probably on the right shoulder of the pandemic slowdown where these people have bought stuff from them. I think a lot of people thought that trajectory would continue. Now, Adobe has a big licensing model, and that means you have to pay every month, every year. Forget what it is. But as time goes along, a lot of these people that are paying, this stuff is fairly expensive. It's not cheap. I mean, if you got a giant YouTube channel or a Rumble or one of the other ones out there, probably not a big deal. But if you've got, if you're not making more than maybe a 50 grand a year on your YouTube channel, probably a little pricey. So, yeah, the problem is a lot of people started that, probably getting out of it, or at least not using Adobe products anymore if they're not making money on their productions, and that's kind of come back to earth. The idea was that everybody, I remember some of the early days of video production with computers in the mid-'80s. One of these guys that was a very Barnum and Bailey kind of guy ended up dying from, he was the proverbial California huckster. Didn't mean his product was bad, but he was basically saying everybody was going to be a video editor. And why, eventually we got to YouTube and more people would be. You've got to have a lot of different skills. You got to be a good director, lighting, audio, technician. I mean, if you're doing everything yourself, now today it is way of a lot easier. You've got channels that are dedicated on YouTube just to other creators, channel creators of new products and other things. Some people just love to do it themselves, so they're not interested in retail profits from the fruits of their labor. But certainly, I think you're on the right shoulder of that. Everybody was producing a video channel thing, and many of those people are back to work now, spending time actually making something that, that makes the money, put it that way. So probably the best of Adobe's future is in it for a while. And again, it's a subscription business, and it works fine, except when people don't or quit making money, and a lot of them have. So business hasn't really changed. It's going to have a core consistency out there. But that's about it. I think that peak YouTube is probably in. Low buy area, 310. I still think it's going to go sideways for a while. Okay, let's see what else we have out here. Bob Evans is the guy I'm thinking about that I brought up. If you can see it, the kid stays in the picture. Is Tesla about to crack? Repeat in San Francisco brings this up. Now, here's the pattern I like. It just hasn't come along yet. That is that you make a high, you pull back under the 3x3, you move back up, and if there's no real resistance and heavy shorting, you could find some kind of high. But again, I think it's probably going to be back up at about 210. And next week is probably, we're probably going to start seeing that markup either late today or first thing Monday morning for fund buying. And you got to at least look at maybe a 1.5%, maybe 2% higher in the S&P on just average, much less when everybody's short. But just one thought. I'm not thinking that like I said, I think we got another week. They're going to get us through fund buying before they pull the rug. Right now, the easiest thing for these guys on Wall Street to do is sell when you can, and they will. but that means that it's great when you have captive buyers, as you will next week, when those 401k money comes to town. Okay. What is it there? Oh, there it is. I'll post this in the den. Idea of peak clickability. Yeah, that is an idea, isn't it? Okay, what else do we have? The kid stays in the picture. If you loved The Offer, you're going to love the guy that's actually behind it. Kind of a blowhard, but this guy is great. He had his own cartoon on what was it? Ran right behind South Park. Ran for a couple of years, but then he died. He was already old, but man, the guy for 10 years, maybe 12 years, was standing on top of the world. Bob Evans, and man, just his life and his heartbreaks, just amazing. And of course, how many people that he made stars and helped out, and when his time came of need, let it. In fact, who was it? I'm trying to remember. It was the star of Chinatown. You can't handle the truth. I'll think of his name in a minute. When he was really down on his luck, he bought his house, and that was it. Everybody's talking about the Royal Winers, but not talking so much about maybe the 6 months previous to this, where Spitting Image had just absolutely eviscerated the lowly prince. I digress today. I'm in a digressing mood. Anyway, Tesla, I don't see anything out here going sideways. I'd like one more push higher in a lot of these stocks that are up here at lofty levels. Okay, we come back. We got a lot more stocks to look at, some with earnings, and then into next week.
Sharpening your skills as an investor is like getting better at playing a musical instrument. You have to practice, sure, but you also need excellent instruction from experts. At TFNN, you'll get advice and guidance from the authority in technical market analysis. And it's not just dry, tedious text either. TFNN airs live financial content streamed live on TFNN.com and TFNN's YouTube channel with Tiger TV, live every market day from 8:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. Eastern, for free. Each host is an experienced trader and gives their take on the market while taking calls and questions live from around the world. From the moment the market opens until the closing bell sounds, Tiger TV has 8 different shows with expert hosts to help you make the right moves with your money. Watch online at TFNN.com or on TFNN's YouTube channel and become the investor you were born to be. TFNN, educating investors.
The technology around us is changing every day. With so much happening, it can seem impossible to keep up with all the information. David White's investment newsletter, The Technology Insider, is designed to give you all the information you need to understand the technology that shapes today's markets and tomorrow's future. David White has made his living staying on the cutting edge of technology. His weekly newsletter will give you specific recommendations for value tech stocks, as well as entry prices, target prices, and stops to set for each trade. Dave delivers his weekly newsletters every Friday with updates throughout the week. You can get the Technology Insider at TFNN.com for only $37.50. Sign up for David's newsletter, The Technology Insider, and get an inside look at everything the technology sector has to offer. Try it risk-free today with our 30-day money-back guarantee. TFNN, educating investors.
Are Are China A-shares hot or not? If you trade China A-shares, now may be time to take a closer look. Trade CHAU or CHAD, Directions Daily CSI 300 China A-share Bull and Bear ETFs. China A-shares in either direction. Visit directioninvestments.com today. An investor should consider the investment objectives, risks, charges, and expenses of the Direction shares carefully before investing. The prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction shares. To obtain a prospectus or summary prospectus, please contact Direction shares at 866-476-7523. The prospectus or summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. An investment in the funds is subject to risk, including the possible loss of principal. The funds are designed to be utilized only by sophisticated investors such as traders and active investors. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC.
This program is brought to you by Vista Gold, traded on the NYSE American and TSX under the symbol VGZ.
As we come back, look at a few more to CZR, which is Caesars Entertainment. This is a flaky stock from day one, but it did gap down. This is one where they call it on Wall Street a sliver deal, where they, put out, like 100 million shares of stock when it goes public, but they only make 1 million shares available, and then every day there's a little bit more supply out there, and it's been that way for a long time. I remember it was $10 for forever, but yeah, I think it's been devised sometimes. Do we have anything else going on here? Jack Nicholson, yeah. I'm hearing something in the background. Not exactly sure what it is. Okay, anyway, Caesars is one. EIX, we'll take a look at that real quick. Edison International, nice little pop on this one. Some no volume though. We're looking at the entire market. There's a handful of stocks that really have done something. EOG Resources, when you look at this one, you're back filling this gap today with about 5.5 million shares, going back and filling the gap from the 10th. What is that? October 3rd, when this gapped up with 4.2 million shares. So you're into that already with more volume. Not a good thing to have. So FFIV, this looks like it wants to come back into about 136, 137-ish and fill this once again. This is one of those gaps from November 9th when it gapped up on 577,000 shares. Now this one, very light volume, so you may want to keep an eye on that one. LYV, Live Nation. A lot of discussion about what's going to happen for regulation, and of course probably justified with all the stupid stuff that happened around, what's that skinny girl? I don't know. I don't listen to her stuff. Anyway, she was the big ticket this year. And, the only good thing is you are going back into this previous high volume low and getting it tested the November 18th. Taylor Swift, that's who it is. November 18th, he had 15 million shares, 65.05. Got to a low of 68.21, but it's going to come back to that level fairly quick. Moderna, as the red pill, see what I did there, is coming back to haunt a lot of these folks that made claims that, they would have probably been okay if they would have just said, hey, the government's all gave us a wonderful get-out-of-jail-free card in case anything happens and anybody brings up any side effects. You can't sue us. Where you can get sued, though, is you start going around making claims that are untrue. One of the other things, too, is eventually they're going to have to get past the whole idea of emergency use for the vaccine. Why do I even call it a vaccine? The therapeutic that they changed the definition of to become a vaccine, and its use may be warranted, but it certainly was, especially by Pfizer and Moderna executives, blown well over any kind of reality as to the efficacy. And of course, they were out saying, well, if you take it, you take our stuff, then you won't get it. Well, that story changed. You might get it, but it won't be as bad. I mean, stuff like that. They could have just lived and walked away scot-free if they didn't continue to say stuff, but they got caught up in the moment. Yeah, I mean, they had it made. But lawsuits mostly coming after these companies are going to be after what the executives said and other people from the company said it would do, and what the reality is, which doesn't mean it wasn't worth it. Don't know quite yet. I'll wait for all the data to come in. But making a lot of claims without data, that is where they've opened themselves up to a lot of these lawsuits. 877-927-6648. There is no, there's a couple of theorems in biotechnology, and the first one is there is no free lunch. Even aspirin has side effects. So just not saying that not worth going after. Just you don't want to toot your horn too much in the biotech industry. Those words will come back to bite you. To Square, nice little pop on this one with some volume, but if you saw this on any other day other than the volume, we probably wouldn't say much. But that's kind of what I'm looking for, is a little bit more push back higher before these things actually come back to the lows. Trimble Navigation. You're just down on light volume. Again, you're coming back and filling some of these gaps. This one is the January 9th low, 1.5 million shares with half the volume today, about 708. So, yeah, you could bounce on this one to maybe 54.50-ish out here. Your low today was 21.29. As I said, I think you're probably going to see a week of higher prices as we go into next week. And fund buying after that, though, there doesn't seem to be a lot of impetus to go higher. Okay, let's see what else we have out here. We see anything else? No. Okay, some questions from the emails to take a look at Micron today, so we'll do that. You just have light volume in Micron. Let's look at the SMHs on that gap down. Okay. You've been pulling back. You had a lot of volume yesterday in the pop higher. It could be an abandoned baby even with the lighter volume. But as I said, I think you're probably going to see a lot of early shorts get slowly squeezed out, and it's going to be long and painful and a stumble higher into Friday of next week. And after that, then maybe we see some kind of high that changes something. Let's go back and look and see at the volume here. As I said, the volume as we started was about 6.1 billion shares for the day. We're doing only about 6.8 billion shares on the CBOE. We need to be pushing some to blow out the lows. We need to be pushing 12 or 13 billion shares on the day at least, and we're not going to get that. So either a range or maybe just a squeeze next week. We'll be back in a minute.
If you're looking for potential trading setups in the stock market, then Rocket Equities and Options Report is a newsletter you should try. Tommy O'Brien delivers options and equity trades when the markets present them, using a combination of fundamentals and technicals. Sign up for Rocket Equities and Options Report today with a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you have nothing to risk. For all the details and to start your subscription today, visit the front page of TFNN.com. TFNN, educating investors.
You might think that if you want to be successful at trading in the stock market, you're going to need a crystal ball. After all, it's impossible to predict the future, right? Like any endeavor in life, before you decide it's impossible, get some advice from the experts. You might find that it's not so impossible after all. For daily market overviews that give you direction on the key indices, selective stocks, and commodities, subscribe to the Opening Call newsletter at TFNN.com. The Opening Call newsletter is written by Basil Chapman, creator of the trading methodology known as the Chapman Wave. The Chapman Wave up-down sequence gives you an edge in identifying price turns, finding the peaks and valleys in stock prices. Get the Opening Call newsletter by Basil Chapman in your inbox every day. First-time subscribers also get a 30-day money-back guarantee. If you're not satisfied, let us know, and you'll get a full refund within 30 days of signing up. TFNN.com, educating investors.
Everything in the universe is governed by the Fibonacci sequence. This mathematical principle is responsible for everything from the most aesthetically pleasing artwork to patterns in the stock market. To stay on top of stock patterns you can take advantage of, sign up for the Fibonacci 24/7 newsletter at TFNN.com. When you subscribe, you'll get a weekly report from veteran day trader Larry Pesavento on stocks you need to pay attention to. And you can trust Larry's analysis. After all, he's got 45 years experience as a day trader. Larry will also provide daily charts, videos, and data on the key markets that he's tracking. Expect notifications from Larry on market movement you need to act on at any time. First-time subscribers also get a 30-day money-back guarantee. If you're not satisfied, let us know and you'll get a full refund within 30 days of signing up. Subscribe to the Fibonacci 24/7 newsletter today. TFNN.com, educating investors.
TFNN has launched The Tiger's Den. Hosted at Discord, TFNN has been educating traders for more than 20 years with live programming hosted by a variety of professional traders during market hours. The Tiger's Den, available to all tigers and tigresses for just $1 for the year. There's no catch or added costs when you join our community of traders. Sign up today and become a part of this educational community of traders. Just visit the front page of TFNN.com.
Catch Tom O'Brien, professional trader and educator, founder of TFNN. Also, a special guest on CNBC. Tom will bisect and dissect the markets. The Tom O'Brien Show, next on TFNN.
As we get ready to wrap up the week, I think the tale of today is the volume. We still haven't reached 7 billion shares on the CBOE consolidated tape. Good day, an average good day is maybe 12 billion shares. So at 7 billion, we're fairly light. Again, you can chip away at these lows. You can kind of go a little lower, but generally, you get this light of volume, you're going to get a bounce. And I think it's, if we finally get a move higher and the shorts give up, that is going to be a good indication that the next time we come down, we're actually going to bust through these lows. I just don't think it's next week. So probably a good time to hold your powder dry if you think you have to be short. If you are also thinking about being long, it's kind of a stock picker's market. I would recommend using options if you are thinking about going long. That it would be the preferred way, and know that you have a limited loss in case anything bad really happens. And because it's a weak market. You can't really look at the summation index for either the NASDAQ or the NYSE and not see the majority of stocks are being sold on a fairly decent and average day. for at least a few weeks. And, maybe that turns around, but I don't think so. I think we just get maybe a little pop in the market. Everybody continues to use this as a good excuse to do some distribution, especially going into fund buying next week. I think, the date's set up fairly well. If we start seeing, some short squeezes and that kind of stuff early, generally it's about noon or 2 on Monday. They'll really start putting up the price in a lot of stocks, and you see no volume. Good indication they're going to hold them up that week. Sell when you can, not when you have to. Hang on for Tom O'Brien to finish another week here at TFNN.
Building wealth trading in the stock market seems impossible